Have you ever been told that you're supposed to do something and that something seems like so big that you literally have no idea how to do it? Like climbing Mount Everest sounds like a piece of cake compared to what you've been asked to do, because that's where I'm at right now. I have been told to write a book, and I honestly don't know what that looks like. So this is gonna sound crazy to some of you, and some of you may be like, oh yeah, I totally get that. But I was told a couple of times, and last June, I hired a coach, and he's amazing, and he's a strengths coach. So I don't know if any of you have taken the Gallup strengths, but there's 34 strengths, and your top 5 are where you operate at your highest level, and the bottom 5 is where you're just kind of in your crap and nothing gets done. So I hired him to help me personally with that. And he's also super intuitive. I don't think he knows that really, but he is. And he told me during one of our sessions early on, and it was kind of out of the blue. I just remember he was like, have you ever thought about writing a book? And I was like, no, I haven't. And he's like, I think you should write a book. You're supposed to write a book. And I'm like, what would I write a book about? I have no idea. And so I thought that was interesting, and I told my husband, and he was like instantly, like, Julie, this is something that you have to do. Like, this is your purpose. I know it. And he even cried. I'm going to say that. Like, he even cried about it. Like, he knew that that was something I was supposed to do. And I was just scared and didn't know what to do. And I got down into my bottom 5 strengths of, like, analytical is one of them. Where I was like, how do I do it? And what would I say? And I just got into like the mechanics of it all, and I did nothing, because that's what I do. When in my bottom 5 strengths, I do nothing. And then I had a friend call me the other day, and she's like, she's very gifted. She has some really cool spiritual gifts, and she can actually see people who have passed on from this life. And she saw my mom. And my mom told her and showed her, like, she needs to write a book. Like, right now, she needs to write a book, and she needs to be telling the stories of what she's telling you right now, which were just some really cool spiritual experiences that I had. So when I tell you these experiences, and they might not all be today, but when I tell you all these experiences, just know that I have permission from my Heavenly Father to do this, okay? So when she told me that and showed me, I felt this urge. Like, she was like, now. She needs to do this now. And I was so scared, you guys. And my husband and I actually kind of got in a fight about this, because he's like, Julie, you have to do this. This is your purpose. You have to live up to it. So go do it. So here I am. I'm doing this. Doing it my way. I feel like video is better. You can feel like and see where I'm coming from. So I just want to tell you that I grew up with amazing parents. They showed me what marriage was all about and what it looked like. And I knew how I wanted to be treated. And I didn't find that the first time around, but I did find that the second time around. And we have an awesome, awesome marriage, and we work really, really well together. Our strengths just kind of do this, and we just work so well together. So as I was growing up, I wasn't always an active member of my church, which is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I actually quit going when I was 14, because I was all wise and knowing at 14, like we all were, right? And I decided, you know what? I believe in God, and I pray, and that's all that I need. So I just went on my way. And did I make horrible choices? Yes, I sure did. But I remember when I was 19 years old, I actually got a call from my mom. This was before cell phones, so, you know, I'm dating myself. This was before cell phones. And she said, Julie, your grandpa has had a heart attack and you need to meet us at the hospital. And at the time I thought, okay, well, you know, he's my grandpa. He's freaking tough. He's going to live forever. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. Whatever. So I remember I got in my car and I drove to the hospital. And right as I was getting ready to go into the hospital, his room, he went into cardiac arrest and passed away. And I just remember thinking, wait, what? What just happened? Like, he's my grandpa. He's strong. How can he be taken away in such a short time? It was 2 hours, about 2 hours from when I got that first phone call. And I remember they let us go into the room, and it was my parents, my grandma, and myself. And we walked into the room and he was laying in the bed and his mouth was wide open. And I thought, was he screaming when he passed away? Like, well, I had never seen anyone dead before, literally. Like, I'd never seen that in my 19 years, right? And I was like, why would they let my grandma see her husband that way? Like, I was blown away. I was so angry that they did that. And I remember we walked in, she passed out when she saw him. My dad happened to be behind her and caught her, thank goodness, to wake her up with like the smelling salt, right? And then I remember she came back to our house afterwards and she stayed with us for a while. And on one of the nights, I don't remember if it was that night or the next night, but I could hear her walking her little tiny footsteps upstairs. She was a teeny tiny woman, like just under 5 feet tall, just teeny tiny and cute and feisty, and I loved her. And I slept in the bedroom in the basement, and so it was just a, you know, single level home. And I could hear her walking around upstairs in the middle of the night, and I thought, I need to go up there and just comfort her. So I walked upstairs, and she loved her coffee. So I made her some coffee, and we sat together on the couch and just reminisced about their life together. And I thought, wow, they only knew each other 6 weeks, and they had this strong, amazing marriage. And I remember thinking, that is what I want. Like, I had these examples, right? That is what I want so much in my life, to have that. And I remember, you know, she felt better, and I got her in bed, and I went down to my own room, and I was laying in my bed, and I was laying on my right side. I'm just like, okay, I'm so tired. It's late. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I hear roll over. And I think to myself, what? You are so tired, Julie. Just like, go to sleep. And I felt again, and it was stronger. And it was almost like a force was like pulling me, like roll over. And I was like, this is so weird. What? I don't understand what's happening. And a third time, roll over. And so I was like, fine. And I rolled over, and I happened to see my grandpa standing at the foot of my bed. And I just remember I sat up, and it was so surreal. He looked like my grandpa, but he looked younger still. I don't even know how to explain it. There was just like this youthfulness to his face. And he was in these clothes that I didn't recognize. And he told me how grateful he was that I was taking care of my grandma, and to please give her the message that he was fine and he didn't struggle and he wasn't in any pain. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing and such a gift for her to hear. And I remember he hugged me, but it wasn't like a physical type hug. It was more of a, just this warm sensation that just filled my body. And so I knew it was real. And I remember then he was just gone, and I was still sitting up in my bed. So I ran upstairs and I woke up my mom, and I said, Mom, I just seen Grandpa. He was just here. And she said, what was he wearing? I was like, so I described it, and I described these clothes that when you're a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, you're buried in these clothes. They're our temple clothes. And I just said, he's in something white and, you know, had something green around his waist. And she goes, oh my gosh, Julie, those are his temple clothes. And I just knew that I had been given like this most awesome gift. And I couldn't wait to tell my grandma in the morning about that. And I thought she's going to think I am cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Like, what on earth, right? But she didn't. She cried and just felt like this sense of peace. And I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, Heavenly Father, thank you so much for giving me that gift. And please, like, I want to be that instrument again. Please use me in that way. And I have been blessed enough to have received several of those types of gifts in my life. And I don't see that for other people. Generally, I mostly see it for me and how it's going to impact the people that I love in my life. But I guess I'm here to say that we've all been given gifts, and Heavenly Father wants us to use them. And I know sometimes it's easier to dismiss it as like, no, that's not a gift, or I'm fine, I don't need to do that. I can push that down and just go do my own thing. And we can't do that. We've been given gifts for a reason, and it's to share them with everyone we know, to lighten their load, to help them get through trials in their life, to be their biggest cheerleader, whatever it is, whatever reason it is. And we may not even know the reason. Just like I have no idea why I'm supposed to do this, but I am. And so I'm being obedient. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone, and I'm doing what I've been told to do. I wasn't even asked this time. It was like, do this now. And so there must be a reason for it. And so I'm trusting that, and I'm doing that. And I pray that you will share this with others that may need to hear this. I don't know what this message or who this message is for, but I'm just listening. And I pray that you listen as well. And actually, I urge you to get on your knees and just pray to Heavenly Father to know what it is you're supposed to do on this earth, because we were all sent here for a reason. I believe we all have a purpose, and we may not discover it until we're in our later years in life. We may discover it early in our years. I don't know. But just pray to know what that is, or to be driven towards something bigger than you. So anyway, that's what I'm sharing right now. I'm sure I'll be back to do this again, because this is just the start. I have several stories to share, and I hope that you'll join me on this crazy journey